Rototom Sunsplash 2023. Please give a warm welcome to our special guests, Linval Thompson, Willie Williams, and Roberto Sanchez. Gentlemen, please come in and take a seat. Now, gentlemen, the three of you all have a lot of music history. Welcome back to Reggae University. For those of you who've been before, welcome for those who have not. I'd like to begin this session by directing a question to Willie Williams, one of the veterans in reggae. Can you tell the good people here at Rototom Sunsplash a little bit about the environment in which you were raised? When did you first understand that you had singing talent, and how did you make use of that talent?
Give thanks. Well, at first I used to live in Kingston, ghetto, Kingston. I went to Trenchtown Comprehensive School, and I lived in Trenchtown. So there was lots of people around who, at the time, was the foundation of reggae music, what it is today. So it was a blessing to be around these people, and also to be or become a part of it as a natural phenomenon. Now, reggae music, I started out at Studio One as an artist in 1968. And the same day I was graduating from my high school, which is Trenchtown Comprehensive High School. And that was, classmates of mine were like slide on bar. You know, we started playing on the desk like this, you know, because we didn't have no instruments. And it revolved into what it is today. Because a revolution is not an evolution. See? Give thanks.
Yes. Now, Mr. Williams, you mentioned that you grew up there in Trenchtown. Of course, Trenchtown is the area that gave birth to so many great singing talents, most notably Bob Marley and the Wailers. Can you tell us a bit more about your experience of growing up in Trenchtown? What was the environment like? What was the lifestyle like? And what role did singing play in that neighborhood? And can you try and sit a little closer to the microphone?
Yeah,
Thank
well,
you.
in Trenchtown, growing up in Trenchtown at that time, Trenchtown was heavenly because there was a lot of love within Trenchtown among the people. Although all of the people, or most of the people, were poor people. See? But a love existed at that time that is, I don't see it anymore in any part of the world, for that matter, unless it's amongst Rastafari. See? But the thing about it is that growing up with this, it gave me the knowledge, the wisdom, and the strength to endure what is happening today, because the people were wise people, so they taught you wise things. See? And all of that went into what I am now doing, I've been doing from that time, is making music. And the experience within that, put inside the music and make it what it is today.
Yes, thank you. Now, you mentioned that you got your start at Studio One, and you said that that start begins in 1968. Did you actually record then? And if you did, was it released?
Yes, in 1968, the first recording I did at Studio One was the same day I was graduating from Trenchtown Comprehensive High School. And that song was called Calling, which graced the album that was called Party Time in Jamaica, and as a single, and re-releases all around the world. It was really a calling for me to to be doing what I am doing now. See? So that was part of the backcloth of the whole thing, you know.
And is it only the one song that you did at that time?
Did a number of songs, you know, because at any time, any artists that work at Studio One know that when you record, you don't record one song. You record many songs, or albums of songs, you know. But
Right.
it's just the right song, releasing at the right time. So we still have lots of songs on release.
Okay. Now, I want to play a little bit of a track that's a little bit later than that and see what you can tell us about this song. Give us a bit of track one, and we'll see what you remember of it.
I know I've been a roamer, yes I've been a fool, but one thing I know that I have been, and with that I can keep my cool. My days are getting so lonely, each night seems so blue. This is my latest feeling, so please believe me it's true. I've been a roamer, though I'm a prisoner of loneliness. I've been a roamer, now I'm a lonely man.
Well, yes, Prisoner of Loneliness, the title of that song. It was my first effort in producing a song on my own. And the song was backed by a band called the Set Takers, which was led by a man called Bobby Calfat. And a very crucial and historical musician that is undercredited and understated, you know. But is one of the giants that built up the foundation because, as I always say in this world, no man is a giant because we're all standing on each other's shoulders. See? So the whole thing about it is that this band was about to disband. And I took the effort of taking them into the studio and making a few songs from this band so as a record, you know, of our togetherness and existence.
Okay. And when I hear that song, it brings to mind works by Delroy Wilson and also soul singers from the U.S. Can you tell us a bit about the influences you had in those days and how it came into your music?
Well, you know, as all people in Jamaica always listen to or are influenced by some music from the United States or from England or from somewhere else, you know, because I think we usually have the greatest set of music on the radio, you know, and the disc jockeys, they search out a lot of that before even computer was in the minds of anyone. Now, Delroy Wilson was my brethren, so I always loved Delroy's voice, and I guess that is kind of an imitation of Delroy at my young age, you know, because this was my first song producing, you know.
Yes, I hear you. And then, now, Mr. Thompson, I understand you're maybe not feeling so great at the moment, but can I direct a question to you, and are you able to share some of your experience? Because you started to record right around that same time.
Just a little, you know what I mean? See what I can do.
Okay.
Greetings, everyone.
Let's, yeah.
Bless.
So I remember when we were fortunate enough to have you with us here at the Reggae University a few years back, you explained that you ended up in New York because you were keeping the wrong company in Jamaica, or something along those lines. That led to some of your first recordings. Let's take a little listen to track 10 and see what you can remind us about this. Yes, Mr. Thompson. So what do you remember about that track? Where did you record it?
Yeah. Well, I remember I recorded in New York, in Brooklyn. My second track for myself.
Okay. And again, hearing that, it brings to mind Dennis Brown and some other singers. What can you tell us about your inspiration, your influences in those days?
Yeah, well, those days, I was listening to Dennis Brown, and listening to many more roots artists, you know what I mean? Like Coxon, Delroy Wilson, and, some of those artists.
Okay. Thank you. Now, we're going to rope in Roberto Sanchez in a few moments, but first I'd like to bring us back to the Willie Williams story, moving up a few years. You did some other recordings for yourself and also for Studio One. So let's take a listen to a little bit of track 3 and see what you can tell us about this experience.
Well, yes, that track, Messenger Man, and came out as a single and as an album also. But this was another effort of mine after, not like Linval ending up in New York, but ending up in Canada, in Toronto, Canada. Met Giacomo too, and we became very close as brethren. We usually perform together. So one of the time I wrote the song here, and I decided to record the song. So I went back to Jamaica and recorded the song at Channel 1 and Joe Gibbs' studio. The guitar on this track was done by a brethren of mine by the name of Carl Harvey, who used to play with Puts on the Metals, the lead guitarist. Well, this is part of his introduction to reggae, because at that time, hardly anybody heard of a rock guitar and a reggae track.
Right. Okay, and so we just, in any discussion of Willie Williams' career, there's one track above all that we just cannot leave out of the equation. So give us a little bit of track 4, an absolute landmark, and we'll see what you can tell us about it.
Supper tonight. A lot of people going to supper tonight, 'cause the battle is getting hotter in this iration. It's Armageddon. A lot of people won't get no justice tonight. So a lot of people going to have to stand up and fight. But remember to praise Jehovah, and He will guide you in this iration. It's Armageddon.
Yeah, give thanks. Give thanks. Armageddon Time, as known as around the world, been done by many people in different genres of music, from reggae to hip hop to rock. This is a song that I wrote in 1979, and recorded the track for Studio One label, Sir Coxsone. This song is a hit from the day it went out on the road, and still is a hit, because they just have a movie coming out now with the name of Armageddon Time. It's called Armageddon Time.
Right. And what were you actually trying to express in that song, and where did the inspiration come from?
Well, all of my inspiration come from the Creator, I don't give myself no credit for that, because I am just an instrument, and the things that I write is part of the meditation that I meditate upon the Creator, and I'm given these things to do. And it become a natural and a normal phenomenon. So Armageddon Time is what we're living in right now, because a lot of people not getting no justice, a lot of people not getting no supper. And a whole lot of people are running and hide from them things what them do, because every action bring a reaction. So it's a song of conviction and a song to let people know that must be careful what you do, because I think some people call it karma. In Jamaica, we call it reaction. What is your action? See, and every action causes a reaction. So this is, what I had to come forward with within the reggae industry, and the reggae thing to make people know it's a real thing.
Thank you. Now, Roberto Sanchez, you're a multifaceted person in the music business. You're a producer, singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist. You do just about everything. Can you tell the good people here at Rototom Sunsplash a bit about where did you grow up? How were you exposed to reggae music? And when did you become part of reggae?
Well, it sounds a little bit strange for me talking to most of these people in English, first of all, because most of them are Spanish fellows. Hola a todos. So it's a little bit strange, but anyway, I will do it that way. And I was born in 1977 when these two guys were doing hits. So musically, I will always be a son of this generation. That's what I feel. I feel so weird being in this part of the desk right now, this part of the table. And I grew up in the north of Spain, in a normal family with two brothers, but we all are musicians. My grandmother, she was a piano teacher in Cuba. Then she and my grandfather, they came back to the north of Spain, where the family of my mother met my father. And then I was taught in music since I was a little boy. My brother is a guitar teacher. And when I was only 13, I discovered reggae music, and I fell in love. I didn't even speak a word of English back then, but there was something about the mood and the soul of the music that caught me forever. It's like I found the truth. And since then, I started practicing, and it was only in the mid-90s that I set up my first band, and I started being a little part of it.
Okay. Well, let's take a listen to a little bit of track 19, and we'll see what you can tell us about this one. 19, yeah, let's try 19.
Fool
Well, that song is called Don't Use Me. And you know, when I firstly set up my studio, I was trying to make a living out of it, but it was so difficult. And I found a lot of people approaching me. I didn't know I knew how to do it. So I was doing it and trying to charge them, but no one wanted to pay me. And everyone was using me. Until the day I wrote this song. And I said, don't use me no more. Don't try to fool me. And that's where the song comes from.
Okay, yes. And you started to develop your own sound. I mean, you had your own studio, but you were also recording and producing for other labels other than your own. And then sooner or later, these two gentlemen come into your orbit. Can you tell the good people here at Rototom Sunsplash a little bit about, how did it happen?
You know, just being with them here today is just a dream come true. Believe me, it's not only, everything is for a reason, but, you know, it's just life and energy made me meet those two great persons, firstly, and then these two great artists. And, you know, working with them, Linval, I've been working with him for the last 14 years. We did many shows together, many things. With Willie, a few years ago, we released an album. We're trying to set up shows and tours. They are my guide and my light when talking about music. So what can I say? It's a pure blessing. I feel blessed. And it's like, it's not me. It's just, I don't know what happened, why it happened, but it happened and I'm so blessed.
Okay. Well, in a few moments, we're going to open things up for question and answer, where you, the audience, can put your questions to our special guests here. But before we do that, a couple of other tracks to play to see what you all remember of these. So give us a little bit of track 33, and we'll see what our special guest can tell us about it.
My life and my salvation. Whom shall I be afraid of? Waves the wicked come to eat up my flesh. They shall stumble and fall.
So, Linval Thompson, what can you tell us about recording that track and working with Roberto Sanchez generally? And come a little closer to the mic, if you would. Yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, he made the track, and I listen to the track, and I like the track, and I write a song to the track, and it's a bad track, and I love the track. Brilliant true line. Bless.
Okay, thank you. And selector, give us a bit of track 34, and we'll see what our special guest can tell us about this one. Yes. Come in, Willie Williams.
Give thanks. Well, the track "Don't Show Off" is, a reminder to us all, including myself, that when we see each other, we must just love each other and deal with the thing, genuine love, article love, and don't really show off on the other person, because the same person you pass when you're showing off, you might be up on top, and tomorrow you're way down the bottom. And it's the same people who you see when you were on that mission or that trend, you're going to see again. So, in general, the message is just, love each other, because our family, the world away. So the thing said. Yeah, man.
Thank you.
I have a question for Roberto Sanchez, and I have to say I'm in love with the music he is doing, the way he's doing, and in his particular feeling. And I think in reggae music must need cooperation and union. And now you're cooperating with people in another country, and they have a very similar feeling than yours. I'm referring to the Fruits Records in Swiss, and they have a studio band named the 18th Parallel that have a quite similar touch that your own Lone Ark band. So can you tell us something about this?
Yeah, it's so nice to see how people of my age, we've been growing listening to the reggae gems from the 70s and early 80s. And we've been developing a love for it. The result is that we are carrying that mission in a way. We are building rhythms. We are trying to organize festivals. We are attending festivals like this one. We are buying the records. We are keeping the flame alive. And we are passing it on to the next generation. And we are doing things for ourselves, but we are also counting on the people we learned or we took the message from, people like Willie or Linval. And we are trying to keep the flame alive. Of course, these two guys, they will keep doing because they produce their own stuff. But there are some other singers like Earl Zero, some other singers I work with, they're not able to produce themselves again. And it's a blessing to be able to bring them back to the business and keep the flame alive in a way. So yeah, it's a blessing seeing in this virtual generation, it's difficult to see people trying to develop a love for an instrument. So it's nice to see people in between 45 and 50 that we've been studying music and we still want to play with a band. We doesn't own, they pay me more if I go and play my dub show, but I prefer to go with my 11-piece band and with the horn section, with everyone. I prefer to do live music. And it's so beautiful to see that. It's so beautiful to see that we are still interested on doing live music, which is, that's the soundtrack of live music, and it's so good. That example in Switzerland, you got the same people in France doing different things. You got people in Finland, you got people in different, all over Europe, and also in America. I'm doing a lot of music now with the Sinai Kings, with TP and Jadi and all of those guys. We are the new generation, and we are interested in what they did and what they keep on doing, and we will try to keep it alive.
Thank you. Okay, so, yeah.
I have a question for all our guests. In Jamaica, I often heard people in the music industry say that reggae moved to Europe, or if it wasn't for Europe, the music, it wouldn't be there anymore. Maybe also the US, of course, plays a part in it. But how do you feel about this? Do you agree? And if yes, what does that mean for you?
Well, I don't think reggae really move gone anywhere now. It's still in Jamaica, because people like myself and Linval Thompson, we still live in Jamaica, and we still make music, It's just that the exposure to the music now, the people, the media, them, don't want to play the music, them. That's the problem, but we still make music, and same kind of music.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, my personal experience is that reggae music, as Willie said, it never left Jamaica. I went down for my first time in my life, I went in 2019, and I felt exactly what I was feeling through the music all of my life, with the kind of food, the energy, the people, the way they speak. Reggae is a cultural music. It is, and it will forever be a Jamaican thing. But the reggae business is a different thing. Now many things are happening in Europe. Big festivals like this, people buying records. Well, I do not sell too much records in Jamaica. It's a pity, but I sell a lot of them in Europe or in America. That's the fact. That's the only thing I say. But of course, the soul and the source of music, it was, it is, it will forever be Jamaica.
Greetings. Well, right now, I'm still recording new artists, new talent, female artists, right now. That's what I'm doing right now. Then, so I'm still recording new act, new female artists right now from Jamaica and from Spain and from London right now, Thompson Sound.
Okay, so you're still producing. Yes, sir. Thank you. So we're going to open things up now for question and answer. So, yeah, okay, we got a question in the front. So, roving mic, please.
I'm from a radio program called Reggae, and I want to give thanks to Roberto for every mail he sends with lovely music, wonderful. And I was just to preguntar cómo habéis preparado, how did you prepare the show for tomorrow, and what are you going to offer?
You know, we brought our band, Lone Arc Reading Force. Hemos traído a nuestra banda, Lone Arc Reading Force. And, you know, with those kind of artists, it's difficult to play all of their hits. They literally have more than 5,000 of hits. So it was crazy. It was just about finding the right tracks to perform in 1 hour and a half. That's the space we have. It's normal because there's a lot of things to see. But we only have 1 hour and a half to expose the career of these two great artists. So we just prepare the thing with love and you know, hits after hits. That's what you're going to see tomorrow.
Thank you. Yeah, we still got time for 1 and 2 more questions. So who would like to put the next question to our special guests? Next question. This is your chance to put your questions to our special guests. So, somebody in the middle? Oh, and one at the back.
Okay, hello. I wanted to thank our guests today, and especially Roberto. Voy a hablar en castellano, que me va a salir más fácil. Resulta que tengo tu edad, no lo sabía. Yo entré en el reggae casi con BDF, con Lone Arc, y escuchaba en ello lo mismo que escuchaba en los artistas jamaicanos. Y hoy en día oigo mucho decir, yo que he intentado tocar reggae, con mucho menos éxito, claro, oigo mucho decir aquello de, es que el reggae solo lo saben tocar los jamaicanos. No es cierto, porque Lone Arc es la muestra de que no es así. Gracias a nuestros invitados lo podemos ver. ¿Qué mensaje darías tú para eso? Ya que hablabas de las nuevas generaciones, positivar a que sí, se puede hacer reggae en España y se puede sonar. Igual no se sonará jamaicano, pero igual de bien y con el mismo flow y llevar ese sentimiento.
Muchas gracias por la pregunta. Sorry for making it in Spanish. He just said that it has been said that reggae can be only played by Jamaicans.
Okay.
But he was introduced into reggae by BDF, Iñaki.
Right.
Iñaki, by myself, and some other people.
Okay.
And what would be my message for the people? Because it seems like we can still create something original or something good being Spanish.
Yeah, reggae is a vibes.
Yeah.
Reggae is a vibes.
That's it.
And it's not a color, you know? It's not a nationality. It's a vibe, a spiritual vibe.
Yeah, man.
So, you see, from you find yourself with that spirituality within yourself, thinking something that is not unconscious, then you can play reggae, man.
It will arise. It will, and then, you know, it's important that it's also, él ha dicho que es espiritual, ¿no? Que hay algo de espiritualidad que tan pronto como entres en contacto con esa espiritualidad, nace, ¿no? Yo lo que te diría también es que es una música cultural. It's a cultural music also. And we have flamenco here in Spain with the gypsy and the people who live close to the flamenco. What happens is that reggae music is a music you learn from within. That's what I would say. It's something spiritual, as Willie said. So it's not something, it's not like learning chords or learning a pattern. It's like understanding a way of vibrating with the music. Es como aprender una forma de expresar. Claro, pasa como aquí con el flamenco, ¿no? Podéis hacer flamenco siendo japonés. Pues hay peña que lo hace increíblemente bien, guitarristas y tal, ¿no? Claro, es una música cultural. Si has nacido en las 3.000 viviendas, has estado bailando flamenco desde los 2 años y tal, te va a salir casi natural. Nosotros lo hemos tenido que aprender, tío, al final, para que suene creíble, ¿no? Y para que te salga del corazón. Esa es un poco la...
Okay. Thank you for that question. Gracias por la pregunta. And thank you for those answers. So we got time for one last question. So who would like to put that last question to our special... Oh, there we go.
Yes, y en español. Robert, no es una pregunta, simplemente dar las gracias a Robert, a los que hacemos vida en la escena reggae aquí a nivel estatal, no solamente por lograr el sonido que logra, por la forma de trabajar, sino la humildad, el amor que le pone y el respeto con el que se trata esta cultura que viene desde la isla, desde Jamaica, y ese amor que transmite la humildad, brother, yo creo que es lo que hace la diferencia con el trabajo que se hace desde Lonark y con los sellos que giran alrededor de Lonark. Así que nada, un ruido para Roberto, por favor.
You know, muchas gracias, Papo. Gracias, hermano. He was just saying, thanks. You know, it's a pity some of the people cannot express themselves in English, but they love the message. They can feel every little word, even though they know the meaning. That's the good thing about reggae, you know. And he just said that thanks for all the vibration coming out of Lonark, which is my place and my band and thing, with people like them. And you know, I would have a last question for Willie and Linval.
Yes, sir.
Would you, when you started singing at Studio One, when you started singing in New York, Linval, did you expect what was going to happen to you and that you were going to be here today with us?
No, never expect nothing like that. Just making music, that's all.
What was your motivation back then, Linval? Why did you want to sing?
I just love singing. It just come to me, naturally. Come to me, just like that. Couldn't stop singing.
Vibration, you say?
Yes.
Willie, what about you?
Man, well, it's the same thing, you know. I was thankful that I was born into a house where you had some musicians, like singers, people in Jamaica. Everybody sing, you know. But somehow we didn't realize when we started doing this, it's just for the love of it, you know, and we didn't realize what we were really doing. But as I said in the beginning, we were being tuned by the Creator to make this thing happen, that it could bring people like yourselves together, you know, and to be a good influence to the world.
Lo que acaba de decir Willie Williams, lo que acaba de decir Linval, es lo que yo les quería preguntar en español, para que la gente que no entendéis inglés lo sepáis. Cuando ellos empezaron, no se imaginaban que iban a llegar aquí y no sabrían que iban a ser profesionales. Todo empieza desde la chispa de la energía, del amor por la música. Esa es la verdad del reggae. Y cuando hay esa verdad, llega. Ellos han llegado aquí a ser profesionales, pero empezaron desde el amor. They started from, I'm saying that was my question. Everything starts from love, from the scratch. That's reggae music.
Well, and on that note, please join us tomorrow. We will be right back here at the Reggae University following the screening of the film Out There, The Use of Jamaica. At 5:20 p.m., we will be having a session with Kabaka Pyramid. Promises to be very intriguing. Don't forget as well, tomorrow evening on the main stage, 8 p.m., you will have the Lonark Showcase with Linval Thompson, Willie Williams. Also, tomorrow at 1 a.m., Roberto Sanchez in the Dub Academy. So one more time, warm round of applause for Roberto Sanchez, Linval Thompson, and Willie Williams.
Thanks a lot, Pierre and David. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Ready?